Grace, a bright and ambitious young woman from the rolling green hills and tea-scented valleys near Kenya's bustling capital, had always dreamt of a big white wedding. Growing up in the serene tea-growing region, she envisioned herself walking down the aisle, her gown sparkling under the sunlight, surrounded by friends and family. When she met Kelvin, a charming and successful businessman from Nairobi, she thought her dreams were finally coming true. Their relationship blossomed quickly. Kelvin showered her with love, gifts, and promises of a lifetime together. The proposal was grand, a surprise at a luxury hotel with a live band and a diamond ring that sparkled brighter than the stars. Everyone envied her, calling her the luckiest woman around. Their wedding was even grander. Hundreds of guests gathered in a lavish ceremony in Nairobi, with Kelvin sparing no expense. Grace felt like she was living a dream, but little did she know her husband harbored a deadly secret. A few months into their marriage, Grace began to feel unwell. At first, she dismissed it as fatigue from adjusting to her new life in the bustling city. But as the symptoms worsened, she decided to visit the hospital. Her world shattered when the doctor delivered the news. She had tested positive for HIV. Confused and devastated, Grace confronted Kelvin. His reaction was chilling. He didn't deny it. Instead, he sat calmly, sipping his whiskey, and said, "I've known for years. I didn't think you'd find out this soon." Grace's heart broke, not just from the betrayal, but from the sheer cruelty of it. Kelvin had knowingly infected her with HIV, robbing her of her health and future. "You wanted the fairy tale, didn't you?" Kelvin sneered. "Well, this is the reality. You're mine, Grace. Forever." Grace spent days locked in their bedroom, consumed by anger and despair. But as the days turned into weeks, her despair transformed into something else. Resolve. If Kelvin thought he could destroy her, he was wrong. She began to gather information about Kelvin's life, his business dealings, and his secrets. She discovered that his wealth wasn't as clean as it appeared. Kelvin was involved in illegal land deals and money laundering, and he had enemies in high places. Grace decided she would take him down, not with violence, but with his own sins. Using her charm and intelligence, Grace infiltrated Kelvin's business empire. She quietly collected evidence of his illegal activities, photographing documents, recording conversations, and copying files. She played the dutiful wife in public, all the while plotting his downfall. One evening, Grace hosted a grand party at their Nairobi home, inviting Kelvin's business partners, friends, and even some of his rivals. Unbeknownst to Kelvin, she had slipped copies of the damning evidence into envelopes labeled with the guests' names. As the party reached its peak, Grace stood on the stage, a glass of champagne in hand. "To my loving husband," she began, her voice steady, "thank you for teaching me the true meaning of trust and love. Tonight I want to share a gift with everyone here, a glimpse into the man I married." She signaled her assistant, who distributed the envelopes to the guests. As they opened them, the room filled with gasps and whispers. "What is this?" one of Kelvin's partners demanded, waving the documents in the air. "It's the truth," Grace said, her eyes locked on Kelvin. "The man you trust, the man you do business with, is a liar, a thief, and worse." Kelvin tried to stop her, but it was too late. The guests turned on him, and within hours his empire began to crumble. Kelvin was arrested days later on charges of fraud, corruption, and tax evasion. His assets were frozen, and his reputation was ruined. Grace, meanwhile, filed for divorce and used her share of the marital assets to start a foundation for women living with HIV. Her actions made headlines, and she became a symbol of resilience and justice. Though she could never undo the harm Kelvin had caused her, she found a new purpose in helping others. As she stood before a group of women at her foundation's first meeting in the serene highlands, where coffee farms stretched into the horizon and life moved at a measured pace, Grace smiled. "They say revenge is a dish," Best served cold, she said, but I say it's best served with a side of justice.